It's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking postseason baseball, NLCS Game 6 between the Atlanta Braves and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now through October 19th, we've got a promo code UPSET if you want to save 15% off anything on picksandparlays.net. Atlanta has a 3-2 series lead, which I don't think a whole lot of people saw coming. But man, has this lineup been hot for the Braves. They had some of the best hitters during the regular season, and that has continued on into the postseason, and even against this Dodgers staff that's been really good during the regular season. We've got Scott Rickenbach joining us to talk this matchup. Scott, just some initial thoughts on Game 6.
Yes, well, first off, kind of a qualifying statement with this is that we are making this recording prior to Game 5. So the assumption is that, of course, the Dodgers did get the win in Game 5 to force this Game 6. And the expectation is that they might use Buehler as the starter in Game 6. Again, that would be if he didn't get any work in Game 5. He is a great pitcher, but like you said, this Braves lineup has been so hot. And in the first 4 games of this series, we saw it start off with that 5-1 Braves win. The next 3 games all totaled at least 12 runs, and they averaged 15 runs in those games. And Chelsea, a lot of those runs came off of the bullpens too. It wasn't just the starters getting rocked. In fact, really the starters didn't get rocked. A lot of these runs came late, and they came against the guys coming in behind the starters. And so I like the over here in Game 6. I know, again, an elimination game, those can be tighter and low scoring, but just the way these two lineups are going and the fact that they're getting a lot of runs off of bullpen arms that they're now seeing more frequently now that we're deeper into the series, I think it sets up well for an over in Game 6.
Yeah, I know the trend in gambling is usually elimination games are tighter, but I don't think that would necessarily be the case for baseball, just as you mentioned, because the bullpens are more used up. For the first time, they're not taking days off in between games. So it's 7 straight games if it goes to Game 7, granted, but these guys have been going nonstop during the postseason, it seems like. And so I think that lines up for more scoring, especially between these two squads that seem to score runs in bunches. Now, the hard part is predicting which team's going to be hot, because I've been doing some hit props. So it seems like one team or the other is super hot and they score a bunch of runs. It's just hard to predict who, but I think the over is a safe play here for that reason.
Yes, you're right. It's been feast or famine, and it's been tough to call which team is going to have the feast on which night. And so the other thing, too, which you mentioned, is that seeing the opponent for 6, 7 straight games. The thing is, especially this season with no off days between games, I mean, you're seeing the same guy that just threw at you the day before or 2 days earlier, and you're seeing them time and time again. It sets up well for the hitters to have familiarity with those pitchers. And that's, to me, that's always an edge for the hitters. So again, I like the over here in Game 6 with the way these lineups have been going.
Right, and some of the closing situations on both sides, I think the most popular one to talk about is the Dodgers closing situation, because obviously Kenley Jansen no longer really the closer there as of taping, unless something monumental happens in this next game. And Joe Kelly has been here or there when it comes to walking guys. So, and the Braves almost blew a game too. So I think it's really putting a lot of pressure on these bullpens, especially if you have a short leash on guys, which when it's an elimination game, I think there's going to be some short leashes, especially when it comes to the Dodgers staff.
We're going to see a lot of pen here in this one, and probably a lot of runs too as a result.
Well, that's going to do it for our NLCS talk here on Picks and Parlays. Good stuff from Scott Rickenbach. Scott, thanks for joining us.